Lightning. That's what damaged the Georgia Guidestones. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is another declaration of truth from your host, Terry A. Hurlbut. Well, the authorities have now demolished the Georgia Guidestones completely, and they did it before sunset yesterday, after something, authorities are still calling it a bomb, shattered one of them. They also have released video footage, low quality footage, which might or might not be all their surveillance cameras can record. We're going to go over that footage frame by frame. And I hope to show you that no bomb brought that stone down. Lightning did. Furthermore, that the authorities demolished the rest of the stone so quickly smacks of destroying evidence. And stick with me to the very end, where I discuss whether that lightning strike was an act of God. Before I go any further, I do want to shout out to the sponsor of this video, which is Conservative News and Views. Link in the description. Be sure to check out the awesome CNAV Store. Scroll down near the bottom for that link. You'll find lots of good merchandise there, including this t-shirt that I've chosen for today. Pravda, better than CNN. Now, CNN did not weigh in. At least I have no reportage from them. But that doesn't matter. They all have an equal problem with the truth. Hey, who can forget the immortal lines of actor Claude Rains as Captain Louis Renault in Casablanca, 1942? Major Strasser has been killed. Round up the usual suspects. Well, the mainstream media, in collaboration with, if not under the orders of, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, if not an even higher, perhaps foreign authority, are doing this precise thing. NBC News, NPR, Axios, and PBS, actually the Associated Press, all are saying the same thing, which is some person or persons unknown place and detonated high explosives at the base of one of the stones. The explosion brought that stone down and a chunk fell off the capstone, perhaps because it had lost its support. The mishap so weakened the rest of the structure that authorities had to knock it down right away. Now, true enough, many of us called the stones satanic. For instance, I have a link in the description to a tweet from Kandiss Taylor, who tried for the Republican nomination in the 2022 governor's race. She says, quote, "God is God all by himself. He can do anything he wants to do. That includes striking down satanic guidestones," unquote, Kandiss Taylor. In fact, she once pledged that if the people made her governor, she would order the guidestones' destruction. Now, on the other hand, Chris Kubas, the executive vice president of the Elbert Granite Association, said, and again I quote, "If you didn't like it, you didn't have to come see it and read it. But unfortunately, somebody decided they didn't want anybody else, they didn't want anyone to read it," unquote, Chris Kubas. Well, what does he mean, somebody? Who? Again, rounding up the usual suspects, which is a sad commentary on our media. But now we get to the interesting part. Remember I asked yesterday, where was the footage from those surveillance cameras? The cameras the Elbert Granite Association placed around the stones, at least after that 2014 incident? Well, now we have footage. The GBI finally released 3 tweets, to which I have links in the description. These tweets show in order a silver car, probably a two-door coupe, having a moonroof, driving away from the scene, the alleged explosion, and a photograph of the site after a tracked diesel shovel knocked down the rest of the stones. We also have an unofficial clip of the mishap from a user calling himself Plymouthian, and video of the damage from WYFF TV. I've left links in the description to both. Now, in addition to this, I have downloaded and embedded in the article for this video 1 clip each showing the demolition and the 12-second clip from BitNext. I did this in the interest of historical preparation. Nobody's going to cancel this evidence. Not on my watch, they're not. Let's take a break here, because I do want to shout out to another sponsor, BitNext. This is your replacement for Zoom, Slack, the Google G Suite, Microsoft Office 365, Dropbox, WeTransfer, and Chili Piper, among others. Unlike any of them, BitNext protects your content and conversations so well that even the administrators can't see it. So this is your channel for secure comms, conferencing, cloud storage, and file sharing. Best of all, everything is back-end, so you don't even need client software. If you have a browser, you can use BitNext. Follow the link and give them a try. 28 days free of charge. You can't beat that with a stick. All right, where were we? Yes, the video evidence. So what struck one of the Guidestones, partially pulverizing it and weakening the rest? This resulted either from an act of sabotage or a natural event. The GBI is pushing the sabotage theory hard, even though they have no suspects yet. But if it were sabotage, wouldn't you expect those cameras to have caught the saboteurs in the act? The GBI has a car leaving the scene, but not driving to the scene. Nor does any frame before the mishap show either wire or clock or soft white mound. That last would be C4, the plastic explosive of choice. Furthermore, why did the GBI knock the structure down in one day? You've opened a criminal investigation, and before the day is out, you're demolishing the crime scene? I smell a rat, sports fans. I smell tampering with evidence and obstruction of justice, or at least obscuration of justice. If you hear of any arrest in this case, don't you believe a word the authorities say. This leaves a natural event. Now recall that witnesses heard something go bang and it shook their homes. That explains the first reports of an earthquake, except that people feel an earthquake hundreds of miles away, and that didn't happen this time. Well, I did something interesting. Again, follow the link I left in the description to the article. In it, you will see a gallery of 10 frames from the footage in the BitNext tweet. Notice the street lamp in the background. Why does it suddenly grow brighter at the very instant of the alleged blast? Because that's no blast. No blast will brighten the light. A light shines brighter when it gets more juice. That juice had to come from somewhere. Moreover, it vanished as quickly as it came. Now, one thing is most likely to have done all these things with no sight of anything untoward before the mishap. That thing is lightning. At least one other observer reported a purple hue near where the dust flew. Well, lightning can produce a purple color. That indicates either high energy or air particles. AccuWeather produced a short video describing purple lightning, which one usually sees above the clouds, not on the ground. I've left a link to that tutorial in the description. Again, a bomb would leave traces and would not brighten the light. Lightning would do the reverse. Furthermore, why haven't authorities released more footage? Why haven't they said they had video of any saboteurs? And why did they knock down the stones before sunset? Can they have possibly gathered evidence that quickly? I doubt it. Kandiss Taylor, of course, left no doubt that she considered the strike against the stones an act of God. Well, could it be? Well, that stone didn't fall down by itself. Lightning is a fact of nature, so those who don't believe in God might quickly attribute a lightning strike to a random event. Well, such skeptics have another problem, and that is, why didn't lightning strike the stone sooner than yesterday? After at least one, maybe two acts of vandalism, the stones have been under video surveillance. But the Elbert Granite Association didn't think to place lightning rods around the sculpture. They didn't do it because they had no reason to fear a lightning strike. Well, maybe they should have. Recall this key verse from the first book of the Kings. Then he gave a sign on the same day, saying, "This is the sign which the Lord has spoken. Behold, the altar shall be torn to pieces, and the ashes which are on it shall be poured out." 1 Kings chapter 13, verse 3, New American Standard Bible. Now, as I told you yesterday, the Georgia Guidestones had 10, let's call them anti-commandments. They spoke of drastic population reduction and suppression, eugenics, and one language. Now that last thing recalls the Babel incident that you can read about in Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 through 9. Now, did God conclude that he needed to teach a certain lesson a second time? You decide. Links to the description of the article, to Kandiss Taylor's statement, to every tweet and YouTube video showing any footage of the mishap, to the AccuWeather Purple Lightning tutorial, and the conservative news and views. I have another link to the awesome CNAV online store and to BitNext, as I also mentioned. And if you like what you've heard, you can like this video. On the end screen, I'm going to put in a subscribe link and also a link to that Purple Lightning tutorial, yesterday's video, and my updated Georgia Guidestones playlist. This is Terry A. Hurlbut delivering another declaration of truth and reminding you to let the truth set you free.